Hi folks, we're in St Helens here. We've just had our GMM and it's been a lovely day. We've had a good time. We've got our party chairman here, Mr Nick Griffin, MEP, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what's gone on today. Nick, what's gone on?
Well, to an extent, of course, you're involved in politics, so you're not quite telling all the truth. We haven't had a lovely time, have we? It's been hellishly hot in this place, and we've had at times some real rancour in this debate, which I think was expected. But the important thing is that by the end of the day, we've actually reached really a pretty broad consensus on where we're going, and it's accepted that what we've just done at this meeting, those here and those who've made a real effort with the proxy votes to decide how they wanted to vote on things, and it also entrusted them to people such as yourself and me, that we've come up with something which is a very significant democratisation of the party. As I said in my closing address, when I took it over in 1999, it was the leader was and did and controlled absolutely everything. And we moved to a position now we're going to have a majority elected national executive. This won't kick in absolutely immediately. Some parts do, other parts, this is the important thing, it's not going to be elected by everyone out there, everyone who just happens to decide to join. Those are the people who, once they've been in 2 years, elect the party leader, whoever that may be. But the people who are going to be sending the majority of people to the National Executive, which has powers over discipline, over finances, over including the power by two-thirds majority to say we need an election quicker than in 4 years' time, because we've gone to a 4-year fixed term. Those people are going to be elected by the regional councils, who in turn are sent there controlled by delegates, who are sent there by the branches and groups. And it's a fantastic thing, because it means that instead of having a dictatorship on the one hand, or an extremism form of democracy when everyone just joins and holds a card up and gets a say, the people who are going to get the say are the branches and groups, and especially the organisers of the branches and groups and the activists of the branches and groups who do the work. Because someone can't just create a branch and a group and say, I've got a branch, I want 2 delegates at the regional council. They're not going to get that. The branches and groups have to be fulfilling certain quite basic criteria, but I tell you what, their criteria at present, which I would say probably about 40% of our so-called branches and groups don't meet. So if they are going to have a say in how this party is controlled, they're going to have to step up to the mark and improve what they do and work effectively and push this party forward. So we've just gone from something, just one final point from me, is we've gone from a system the last couple of years, we've had a system where the vested interest, if someone wants to change something big, for leadership or something else, the vested interest actually has been to cause trouble, to destabilise, so that people say, oh, we've got a terrible problem, something's wrong, we must sort it out. We just switch that on its head. From now on, if you want influence on this party, if you want influence on how it's run, if you want influence on who the party leader is and especially how long they're going to be there, you've only got one way to do it, and that is to work your socks off for the cause, for the party, and for all the people out there, all the kids out there who desperately need our help.
So it ties in nicely with what we do in our community. So we're talking grassroots politics in grassroots areas, working their way right from the very bottom right up to the top.
Absolutely it does. Some people have said, or it's been said recently, oh, we're starting to talk about grassroots politics a lot. That means we've abandoned elections. No, it doesn't. It means we recognise that in order to win elections, in order to have the enemy smears bounce off you, you first of all have to have your roots sunk really well in your local community. So local community work and local campaign work, it's really, really important. It's especially important as a way of getting minor victories for people out there and building the party, recruiting people. But in the end, everything we do has to feed back into, when it's registered, that we've got more support at election times. And far from giving up on elections, what we're doing at present is laying foundation stones so we do better in the elections we fight in future.
Just briefly, some of our folk get a little bit disillusioned and they think that things are going to happen overnight. When we realise that we're in this for the long haul. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit? Yes,
indeed, especially people who perhaps, they join at the end of the first year, think, well, I achieved, because they think our ideas are so self-evidently right. Our literature, our website and so on, it's so self-evidently really good, and everyone you speak to out there agrees with it, that people get involved and they think, all we've got to do is tell people once, and they'll see the light as I've seen it, and we'll sweep to power. And it's not like that, because the things that are put against us, the external attacks from courts and police, and especially the media, internal subversion, partly it comes from our own faults and our own follies, but some of it's calculated and in fact put in from the outside. And all those things together means that we've got a long, hard road ahead of us. But and people say to me, well, when are we going to come to power? The answer is I don't know. All I know as a student of history is that all the great changes in politics, especially in the politics of European countries, which includes us in a cultural and religious, etc. sense, they all happen at quite unexpected times with a sudden trigger, which just tips something over the edge. But you have to have the support there initially, and I say time and time again, I say it again now, that if everyone out there disagreed with us, if when we went out on the doorsteps and with stalls in the town centres, people were spitting at us and hurling abuse or just walking on disinterested, then we'd know we'd have a problem. But as you know, and as every activist who's been out, and over the last year especially, knows, there's more and more soft support out there. We've got to organise ourselves, and this meeting today has been a big step forward to a better organisation in future. We've got to organise ourselves so that we recruit the people recruitable at present. We carry on winning the soft sympathy of the people out there. They see us with our stalls, they see us with our activities. Occasionally they see us in the dock on a free speech charge and so on. They see you being hauled away in handcuffs, from a demonstration against the Wakefield housing bullies and so on. They see that and they're more sympathetic to us. All that we're doing for that one brief moment, which could come in 6 months, it might come in 10 years. When the window's open, everything changes. There's a window of opportunity for us to make enormous strides. I believe that time will come. I certainly know that if it did come, and we're not properly organised for it, the opportunity will pass us by. So let's not worry too much about exactly when we're going to come to power. Let's do the things that we need to do now to take us a few more steps to where we need to be, so that when the opportunity arises, we can seize it.
There'll be a lot of people extremely happy in our organisation with what's gone on today, and likewise I should imagine on the other side there'll be a lot of people who are against us who will be very, very disappointed with what's gone on today. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Yes,
I think so. And the important thing is that a lot of people who couldn't come here today made the effort to vote through proxy, and a proxy system. It's entirely normal. It's absolutely constitutional, and it enfranchises a lot more people. We had fewer than 200 people packed in here, but we've had proxy votes of, there was a few spoilt ones, but we had virtually 1,000 proxy votes of people who overwhelmingly have made the effort to think through the motions that were put to them, and where they knew where there were motions put which they weren't going to be able to vote on, amendments such as even one we did later today, which really brought people together. Yeah. They'd entrusted you and me and the regional organiser of each of the so-called fringe nations. I don't accept that at all, especially in the case of Wales, but Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, and those people, their wishes have been abided by. And like I say, at the end, we concluded with something which everybody accepts is what was put in principle terms overwhelmingly to the annual conference last year on the Sunday, which was voted for overwhelmingly by the annual conference, and has now been passed here today. And the opposition, the far left especially, they've been hoping, because they've known that we've had tensions over this, they've been hoping this party would tear itself apart. And there were threats, it's on the silly and usually far left run blogs. They were saying, there's going to be people literally fighting in the aisles at this meeting. No, there wasn't. There were some harsh words said, there's some apologies and shaking hands been made since, but we've got what we needed to do, which is a huge step forward, giving this party a democracy of the doers. It's really been a hard day, especially with the heat. It's been a really good day.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Nick Griffin, MEP. Well, that concludes it, folks. We've had a good day today here. Don't forget, we've got our new campaign out on the streets, as Nick mentioned earlier. Our pulling out of the EU campaign. If you can support that as much as possible, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much.